Hey everybody, Board Bob here. We're back with another episode of Factorio Modded. So last episode we went around and we put out a bunch of remote radar sites, and let me show you how that's going. So as you can see, it is definitely clearing up the map. We're able to see quite a bit more. And excuse me, in honor of the whole thing, I thought that perhaps we would name this Operation the Alamo, because I got out here and I put this one down, and I didn't see anything, and then it opened it up, and that's where I had ended up putting it. Yeah, so these things are in the middle of the biters, but interestingly enough, the biters are not messing with them. And I got to looking at this, and so we'll zoom in on this one. There it is, and as you can see, I mean it is surrounded by biters, but none of them are messing about with it. And what I came to realize is this: if we look closely, no pollution. We're using solar panels and we're using accumulators. There's no pollution. And there's no, because of the lasers and stuff as well. So they don't even realize it's there, really, I guess, is the situation. So we did lose two of them in putting all of these out. There's close to 20 of them. I'm not sure exactly how many I got out there. But we lost two of them. And the two that we lost because we aggravated the biters around them while they were installed. And so of course, they attacked and aggroed on them and destroyed them. But since that time, they've not touched them. And if we go up here, the very last one that I placed, is it that one? I don't think it's that one. I was quite low on walls when I placed it. So in placing it, it has considerably less walls than the rest of them. In fact, it only has, I'm going to say it's that one. No, it's not that one. Maybe it's, I remember which one it is, but one of them only has one layer of walls. And yet it is still quite fine. No problems. No, they haven't messed with it. It's not been destroyed or anything else. So I would call this whole thing overall a success. I mean, we got quite a ways, and as you can see, it's still clearing out. Is it this one maybe? No. I remember which one it is. It was next to a building, and I literally ran out of walls and didn't have enough walls to even enclose it. So what I ended up doing was tearing down the ruined building that was next to it and adding the walls from the ruined building to the radar site, and it only has one wall around it. And they don't care. They're not touching it. So anyway, so there we go. So it is definitely opening up space. We're starting to see a lot more of the map. I think I'm going to continue to do this as I have a break from other things, and bang it all out and get it all on there. Now, you can see that our pollution has gone down quite a lot now that we are mostly on solar power. I mean, we're doing great on our pollution at this point, which is also why we're not seeing a whole lot of biter activity. So anyway, so there's that. So one of the things that I said I was going to do is we were going to convert this area up here, where we're already smelting quite a bit of ore, or not smelting, but mining quite a bit of ore. And this location was really nicely cut off from everything else and what have you. So I thought what we would do would be to turn this into a smelting area. So we're going to start working on that. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take up a bunch of concrete and a bunch of substations, and we're going to start laying out, because right now it's all poles and we got trees in the way and everything else. We're going to start turning this into our main smelting area. So all of our ore is going to come in here, both iron and copper, and we are going to run 2 smelting plants, one for iron, one for copper, and then we're going to ship the plate out from here. I know we've got the smelting operation up here, and it has gone well and it has served us well. But let's be honest, it's kind of confined room-wise at this point. We really can't expand it. It has done its job, and we will continue to use it in the interim. I mean, because we have all of this ore coming in and what have you. But ultimately, what I want to do is have one giant smelting operation and have it smelt everything and then ship just the plates in. Same thing goes for various other items. I want to kind of, like I say, decentralize things and kind of head towards the American manufacturing plan of on time supply. So we got a train here. I got 4 cars. They're all full of concrete, and I got a bunch of other stuff in hand that we're going to go ahead and head on up here and work on this. And when I get up there, I'm going to take this train apart and put it in a chest, because we can do that in real life. We can take a train apart, put it in a chest, and sit it off to the side of the railroad track out of our way, right? So, but anyway, here we go. Let's head on up here. We'll go time passed. Zone smelting. Oh, because that's right. Yeah. So we're gonna have to manually go to it. I wonder if it'll allow. No. Okay. Fine. That was iron pickup number 2, I believe, was the other station that's up there. Because that station is turned off because it doesn't need repair kits, it's not going to show up on our list because it is disabled. One thing I did do, I said I was going to set it up. I hooked the Siren up to the park the train barn station for repair kits. So if something ever calls for repair kits, we can go ahead. We'll be notified, so we'll know they've been called for, and we can kind of deal with that accordingly. Because if they're being called for, then something is being really slammed with attacks, and it has chewed through our reserve of repair kits at that location. So we'll need to head up there and address it if that becomes the case. So let's get this thing unloaded real quick and off the tracks, so that we're not blocking the tracks and what have you. And we're just going to put it all over here in some chests for the time being, just to get it out of our hair. So let's just pack the train up, and that way it's out of the way of the other train that needs to get in and out of here. Alright, so there we go. Yeah, put the rest of that up. Yeah. Put that in there, and that in there, and that in there, and that in there. And then we're going to take all the concrete back out, right? At least as much of it as we can. Alright, let's see. Did we bring a... No, we did not. Okay. There we go. Alright, so let's grab this, blow it way up to max. Now, where are we going to put this? Let's see. We have the rail coming in here, right? And we're probably going to bring a second one in. I mean, we have 2 rails that come off of this. We can bring one in for copper. We can bring one in for iron. Have two separate load and unload stations. One of the two. We can either bring everything in, you know, in on one and out on the other, or copper on one and iron on the other. But we got 2 lines that we can use to kind of do whatever with. So let's put it off out of the way. Now, let me see how much is in this deposit. 379. Maybe we want to pick that up. Okay, so let's something to stay away from that to begin with, until we've got that mined. So let's move over here a little bit. I'm not too concerned with being close to the wall. Not really, because like I say, it's kind of isolated. Yeah, we got some biters over here, but if they start really giving us any hard times, we can come in here and knock these bases out, and they won't grow back. So any pollution that's going to expand shouldn't be so bad. We've also got this copper ore over here. We might just pipe the copper ore in. That might not be bad. That's 6 million. That's almost 7 million copper. We may pipe that in. So we got to keep that in mind too, because that's going to have to come in. So anyway, let's just go ahead, I guess, and lay down concrete. And we can go all the way to the wall, I suppose. Why don't we do that? Why don't we go all the way to the wall? It gives us the flexibility of doing whatever it is we decide we want to do. Oops. Sorry about the noise. What I ought to do. But this is actually, I think, in the long run, this is ultimately actually faster than the robots. I know it's probably wasteful going all the way up to the shoreline like that. It's just kind of an anal retentive thing on my part. I don't know. I like, since this is going to be an industrial area, I like the look of it being completely concreted in. It gives it that you know, that industrial look to it. So one of the things we're going to do, once we get this all laid out in concrete, we are going to put down substations, and we're going to build a substation grid out here, so that we don't have to deal with the poles and what have you. And my goal is with this to set up a smelting area using the electric furnaces, but also using I know there's a piece of concrete in there, I saw it, but also using the beacons. I went ahead and made some beacons. I actually have a bunch. I set up a small plant just a provider chest and a couple of requester chests and a factory, just like I've been doing with some of the other ones. And it's just basically cooking away beacons. And we will go ahead and set this up with beacons. I've not used beacons in the past, so this is going to be something interesting for me to see, you know, what they do and what have you. I mean, I don't know why I've never used them. You know, if you ask me to provide a definitive answer as to a reason, I really do. I don't know, to be honest with you. I just never have. You know, I've always gotten to the point where I get through a game, and sorry about the noise, and I reach end game, you know, without them. So I just, in the past, have not used them. So you know, this whole series is kind of a number of new things for me, if you will. One of them, of course, being the mods and things like that. But you know, it just in general, it's a lot of new stuff. So that's kind of cool. All right, so we're going to go ahead and I'll do the rest of this off camera, but we're going to fill this whole thing in ultimately with concrete. Like I say, this is going to be our second industrial area, just like we've got over here. Eventually, I've been trying to think of where I want to do do the power plant and build nukes and what have you. So I've been thinking about where I want to put that at over here and whatnot. So we're getting there, a little at a time. So first thing we want to do, whoops, we can't do it without them, is I want to set up a grid of substations. That way we don't have to do any poles or anything else, and we can kind of set this whole thing up. Ooh, more concrete. And just be done with it. And any more subs? No more subs. Okay. So let's get rid of this concrete that we got left. We'll throw that down, and then we'll lay out substations. There we go. All right, no more noise for a little bit. So let's go ahead and start gridding out our substations here. And I guess it really doesn't matter, I suppose, where we really kind of start from. But I want to start against the wall. You know, that way we can even pull up the poles for the lasers. And we'll start right here against the wall, and we'll just use this as our base point for laying them out. Now, because we're up against this wall, I'd like to be able to just run down and do them boom, 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 but the problem being we've already got poles here, so it's going to key off of those poles, and it's going to lay them down in weird places. We don't want to do that. We want to go ahead and lay them out properly. So we're going to lay out a few, and we're going to get a grid set up. And then what we're going to do is we are going to make ourselves a blueprint, and we're just going to blueprint them out and let the bots do it. See how we got the attachment there but not the attachment there. That's weird. You know what? We can fix that. Ha. There we go, see? Alright, there we go. Autosave. Alright, so that'll give us a grid of 3 by 3. So we'll go ahead and we'll blueprint this. Did it pick anything else up? No. Okay, good. Why don't we... What are we missing? We got substations. Oh, they're not up here. Well, no, they're there. Oh, we put our robots down. When we came over here, we put everything in the chest. One of the things we put in the chest was the robots. So they won't do anything if they're in the chest. There. Now they'll do their job. You know, what are we paying you guys for? Man. You would think... I didn't want to do that. That was not my intention. Alright, well. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I have stupid numbers of deconstruction schematics or blueprints. Because of not bringing them with me. Because, you know, yeah. Why would I want to do that? Right? That would be silly. Looks like we got a pole in the way in one location and a roboport in the way in the other location. It's okay. Once we get this laid out, we'll move things around. Excuse me. Let me guess, we're out of substations. We are out of substations. Didn't bring enough. Oh well. Alright, well, let's see. Yeah, so we're going to want to bring up some more concrete and some more substations. Okay, we got a train. Alright, let's see. Where did we put it? Well, let's put all of that stuff in there. And let's grab our train. Right, there we go. Now, I'm not going to lay more concrete down right now. I am just going to bring it up because since we got to go in that direction anyway, we may as well pick it up while we're there, right? So let's go to drop off, which would be copper, copper, drop them off. Yeah, that would be it. We need to change that name. There we go. Big long train, takes a little while for it to get up to speed, but still much faster than me walking it. Okay. And if I was smart, which we've already determined is not necessarily the case, what I would do is I would do this. Right there, 1. Right, 1. Because we are not using this line anymore, what we can do, and it's going to bring me a bunch of them, I guess. No, that's coal. Okay, good. Is we can put in a station down here for concrete and walls, because it's going to be right here. So we'll have concrete, we'll have walls, and what have you. We're not necessarily going to have it load the train right now, although at some point we may consider doing that. But for right now, we're just going to have it bring the train here. So we will plop her down right there, right? And we will call this concrete, right? So now if we ever have to come back and get concrete, we can just tell it to go to concrete. So now let's put the train down in the right direction. There we go. And fill that puppy up. I'm using wood just because I got an ass ton of it. There's no sense not using it. God knows I've cut down enough trees. Come on, stop getting on the belt. Alright, there we go. So now, let's grab ourselves a bunch of substations, wherever they're at. Are we got any here? Or are they all down the way? They're probably all down the way. Yep, they're all down the way. Okay. Not a problem. See if we can't get hit by a train while we're going down there. Won't be the first time I've done that, that's for sure. Alright, so let's see, where are our substations? Right there. Yeah, I don't know why you give me hell that you can't put it down there. I know you can put it down there. I know there's room. You just won't put it down there, that's all. I would say that's probably going to be enough substations. But, you know what? Have and not need, need not have, right? That's my rule. Speaking of which, the new semester at school has started as of today. My first class is on Wednesday. And I've got almost an entirely full class this time around. Got a lot of students, which should be interesting. But yeah, so Wednesday is my first day of class, but I will be also working in the lab 4 days a week. So these videos might slow down a little bit. I don't know, depending on how busy I get with school. We will have to see how that goes. Let's see, iron 2 pickup, time passes, go. So we'll see how that works out. I don't foresee it causing me too many issues. I usually process these videos at night and upload them at night. I just set them to upload to YouTube and set it all up and then go to bed. So generally speaking, that shouldn't interfere with that. So I think we'll be just fine. And looky there, it just fits, which is kind of cool. Just fits at that signal. Oops, never mind. We got a backpack full of concrete already. We got to get rid of before we can start pulling you guys off. These down here. Now the reason I did that the way I did and went back and grabbed these, you know, is I didn't want to empty these ones out and have the station try and fill them up with iron ore. So I wanted to make sure that they couldn't, that there was no empty space in the car. So anyway, let's grab up these. Let's put that back down there. And we need to scream at it. And there we go. So let's go finish this part of it up. Let the robots do their thing. Oh, well, for the robots to do their thing, we have to have the robots. Wow, Moreland. Sometimes I'm not the brightest bulb in the box. What am I saying sometimes? Hell, most of the time, I think. Alright, there we go. Go do your thing, guys. Do what you do best. Which is make funny noises. And it might be wasteful putting them down here. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but why not? Let's make sure the whole thing is covered. We do it once, we don't have to do it a second time. in theory, anyway. When I said we were to return to Transylvania, I only meant Magenta and myself. In theory, anyway. I haven't seen Rocky Horror in a few years, man. I gotta go back. I used to go all the time. Frightening little tidbit of info. I used to dress as Frankie. I started out dressing as Brad. Back in the day when I was in high school, and that's what when I went then, I would dress as Brad, and that kind of changed over the years, and I ended up, I started doing Frankie. And when I was living in New Mexico, the theater there showed it twice a week. They showed it Friday nights and Saturday nights. And on Friday nights, I would go and be part of the stage crew. And on Saturday nights, I would just go. And all told, I really can't tell you how many times I have actually seen Rocky Horror. I stopped counting at about 500. A lot of that was in New Mexico, because like I say, you know, twice a week. But yeah, it was fun and interesting times, especially there. I was living on an Air Force base. I was in the Army, of course, like I've said before. And I was living on an Air Force base in a Navy barracks. So, with a Marine down the hallway. So needless to say, it was interesting on Friday and Saturday nights to dress up and leave the barracks. Got a lot of strange looks. I get a lot of strange looks these days too, just because. So, you know, nothing new for me. Alright, there we go. So, we got all the substations set up, which is cool. That would be a video finishing up rendering, I do believe. So we'll have another one going up. Alright, so that should give us all the substations. What do we got going over here that we got? Says it's missing something. What's it missing? Not enough logistical network space storage. Oh, yeah. Kiss my butt. I don't have chests down, so when it's picking up the trees, it's trying to put them in a chest. There's no chest. Well, you know, tough. I didn't tell you to pick the tree. Well, I did sort of tell you to pick the trees up, because I told you to put the substations down. Now let's take a look at our grid and see where we are missing substations, because we're gonna take the poles up, and I'm gonna have my guys take the poles up, because I'm gonna hold on to them in my inventory. So let's go up here, get the little red paper, and let's take the poles down. Now that we have the substations, we don't need the poles. We can get them out of our way. Ooh, fish. Fishing by robot. You know, that's one I never thought I'd see. Certainly is convenient. I don't want to grab too many at a time, and I don't want to grab too far out, because if I do, then the roboports will try and pick them up, and then we got issues of... Huh. Really? Well, we'll fix that, won't we? There. Now see, I can tell my bots to pick them up, and I'll just put the wood in my inventory and we'll be okay. Oh, we got another fish. Man, look at all the fish. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go fishing in a big way. Look at all them fish. I don't know if the fish replenish or not, but I'm going to assume that they wander around the oceans randomly, so eventually they probably swim back into an area. I don't know if they replenish them or not, but I don't think I have to worry about... How many did we get? 140 fish. Teach a man to fish, and he'll feed himself. So does that apply to robots too? Fish oil, right? So we're just trying to clean up some of our mess here. Apologize if this is kind of boring to y'all. But I mean, the reality is it's kind of part of Factorio. Anybody that likes this game, I'm pretty sure probably understands, you know, these kinds of little odds and ends things that you kind of have to do. I mean, it's part of the game, which, you know, to me, is kind of part of the draw of the game, I guess. It gives my brain a chance to concentrate on other things rather than a whole bunch of talking to itself and bizarre things like that. It gives me some quiet time, mentally anyway. It's just one of those things. It's a creative type thing. You will find, at least we generally find anyway, we being the people I work with and myself, generally find that creative people tend to have what others would consider mental issues, a lot of anxiety, a lot of OCD, a lot of ADD, that sort of thing. You'll find a lot of folks with, you know, who are quote unquote creative, have a lot of those issues. I don't know whether it's, you know, you're creative because of it, or because of it you're creative, kind of thing, you know. Makes you, you know, which came first, the chicken or the egg, I suppose. But You know, it just, the way it seems to be, I know a great many of the people I'm around or associate with or work with or what have you tend to be on the spectrum. And many of my students oftentimes are as well. So you know, I think it comes with the territory. Crap. Put you back. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I've got my own issues that I deal with as well. I'm a little OCD, I'm a little ADD, that sort of thing. Not to mention a few other, you know, odds and ends problems, if you will, that I've kind of picked up over the years. But on the plus side, I'm not up on a clock tower somewhere, so there's that. Of course, this week I don't think I'd want to be up on that particular clock tower. It'd be a bit cold and wet and windy, to say the least. From what I've seen, they really got hit pretty badly this week with that hurricane. A lot of people flooded out. It's a shame, you know. It's a shame, man. You think about it. You know, you look at people and you think to yourself, you know, there but for the grace of God, kind of thing, right? All right, so here's one of those problem locations. So let's go ahead and put that down. Wow, a whole bunch of them didn't go down here, huh? And probably all for the same reason. Yep. Alright, so now we'll put a robo port in here. And put a robo port there. We're going to need a robo port later. We'll have to put one in there. Map. Let's look at our robo port situation. Yeah, you got a little sliver right there and a little sliver right there. So what we'll probably do is shift these ones over and then add one. So it looks like we got a couple of poles still outstanding, but for the most part, it looks like it's all up. Looks like we got a pole over here somewhere. Oh, we got a stone there too. Let's get rid of the stone. Everybody must get stone. Back by 2. Oh, there it is, right there. Bingo. Alright, and anybody want to play tic-tac-toe? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Hiding next to the RoboPort. So here, over here. There's one there. And 2 right there. One right there. Couple right here. One right there. there, one right there. Missing one right there. And I got another one over here somewhere. There's 2 poles right there. And a pole right there. And a pole right there. Yeah, this is where that patch is. I'm not going to mess about with that patch too much. Until we get it cleared a little more. But we will go up here and... Alright, so it's missing one right there. Yep, right there. There we go. Alright, so let's see what it looks like. Yeah, cool. Missing a couple over there. We'll take care of those real quick. And then that'll be that. So that'll have our grid set up. Like I say, I'm going to finish out the concrete, or the cement, whatever. And we'll go from there on that. Now how do we look? Perfect. Much better. Much better. We could probably put one down here somewhere to close out that part of the grid. It won't be exactly, you know, on line with the other ones, but I don't know why it won't be. Huh, weird. That should have lined up. Let us put it down. Now this one's not going to be. This is going to be off the shore, so we'll just put it in there and cover the shoreline. And I don't know that we need to put one there. Nah, I think we're good. Might maybe right here. Put one in. Stick it right about there. Yeah, that ought to work. Yeah, good enough, right? Good enough for government work. We'll throw another one down right here. There we go. All right, guys. So there we go. We got the grid set up, or at least mostly set up, and we've got the concrete laid down. So next episode, we come back. We're going to start coming up with an idea for a furnace setup, and then we're going to build that out. And then we'll figure out where the stuff comes in at and what have you. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish laying this concrete and get that all done up and clean up some of the edges of this electrical system maybe, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so you guys have a good day, and I will talk to you later. All right, bye.